Awesome. I want to welcome everyone to the Power Hour with Lauren Powers, where we're talking to female experts and influencers and entrepreneurs on how and sharing their top tips and tricks on how to become wealthy, healthy, and happy. Necessarily not in that order. Depends on who we're talking to. But today I have a fabulous woman. I've just been so honored and grateful to get to meet her. We're going to get to meet her a little bit more. And her name is Robbie Motter. And most of you probably already know her if you're in this industry. I'm telling you, her bio was so impressive. I'm just so excited to have her. So with that being said, Robbie, I'm going to let you talk a little bit about some of your awards and what you've been doing and what you want our audience to know about you, and go from there.
Well, my real passion is helping women soar to greatness. And the reason that it's become such a passion for me is that when I was in the corporate world back, I got out of the corporate world and became an entrepreneur in 1985. But prior to that, I was in the corporate world in New York and Texas and different places. And what I found was that women were really stabbing other women in the back. They wouldn't help you. It was just really bad. I remember I was working in Omaha, Nebraska, and I asked this woman to help me to learn something, and she said to me, "I'm not going to help you or any woman." And I thought to myself, wow. So from that day on, from 1975 till today, it's just been my passion, because I do not believe that we're competitive to each other. I believe we can help each other and we can learn from each other. Even if we're in the same business, we can learn the mistakes the person that's in the same business has made, and we can share ideas.
Absolutely. I mean, I like to always say that women, we should be lifting each other up instead of tearing each other down. And I guess
somebody was telling me the other day that's still in corporate, it's still happening, and that really sort of surprised me.
We lost you, babe.
Okay, let me come back. Let's see. How did I lose you?
I'm not sure. Maybe hit your video again.
I gotcha.
There you go. Yay,
okay.
She's back. She's back.
I'm back.
In red. Beautiful in red. Is that your branded color?
Well, Naffi colors are red, and my nonprofit is cobalt blue. So those are two colors you see me wearing a lot. But, my life was started in that I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I grew up in a lot of foster homes. So when I was 14, I got on a bus, took off from one of the foster homes and went to San Francisco and interviewed for a job. And that was back in the days where you had to wear nylons and gloves and hats.
Oh, wow.
And the company, and I had no experience, but I looked older for my age. And the company I interviewed with was Levi Strauss, which is still around today.
Absolutely. I love it.
And I found a place. There was a rooming house in San Francisco run by this really great lady. I didn't have any money, but she let me live there until I got my first paycheck. And then I would just go in early every day and learn everything. Back then they had those PBX machines where you had to pull in plugs. So I just spent my life learning so that every job I could move up to. And then went back to Hawaii. And when I was 21, I became the first director of personnel. They used to call it personnel then. It's now human resources.
Yeah, HR.
For the Hawaiian Village Hotel. And I had one of the greatest mentors of my life. At that time, it was a Western hotel, which is now the Hilton Hawaiian Village. And it was owned at that time by Henry J. Kaiser of Kaiser Aluminum, Kaiser Steel. And I remember I was very shy. You wouldn't even know I'm the same person. And it was about the time he was building the Liz Taylor and Mike Todd were doing the Around the World I lost you. Are we still there? Doing the Around the World in 80 Days Round Dome, and he was trying to make a round dome. And it seemed like I always got caught in this elevator with him and his engineers, and they would keep telling him that there was no way to build a round dome. And he was 76 at the time, and he would look at me and say, "Robbie, let this be a lesson to you. There is nothing that cannot be done. And yes, the dome did get built.
Yeah.
And it taught me something else that has stayed with me my whole life, that life is like a main highway. Sometimes we get off on a side road when things aren't going right. It's like getting off on a side road.
Mm-hmm.
And if we just tell ourselves that we're off on a side road, before you know it, we're back on the main highway. That has stayed with me forever.
I like that. It's a nice visual.
Right. And so, I was blessed because every job I learned something else. And if I didn't know it, I read a book and learned it. And at the end of my career, I was working in Washington with a staff of 800.
Wow. No wonder you can run all these organizations simultaneously and be the global division leader of this one and the nonprofit of that one. I mean, you're everywhere. It's just, your bios is so incredible, which we'll have in the link, of course, but it's just so
I'm very multitask. Now, a lot of people don't believe people should be. In fact, I have a friend that whenever she calls me, I can hear everything she's saying, but I might be doing three things. And she'll say to me, well, I'll call you back. I'll say, no, Janet, I can hear everything you're saying. But I realize that there are some people that when you're talking to them, you must give them complete attention. And in fact, a friend of mine that wrote, Alice Mars, she was in New York, who wrote The Attention Factor, told me that. She said, Robbie knows some people. So I learned that. So, as you learn people's personalities, you learn better of how you need to deal with them.
That's right. Exactly. You're amazing. So that's great. I love your passion, Robbie, that it clearly speaks volumes of who you are and what you've created and the women you've influenced over the years. And I'm just one of the new ones you get to influence. I know you nominated me for an award coming up and all these exciting things. And I'm just so blessed to be part of your organization now.
One of the things I've been blessed with is that I have a way, I don't know, it's just a gift that when I meet somebody, I see talent in them that sometimes they don't even see. Like I'll push them and they'll say, how did you know I could do that? And I'll say, I just knew it, and I wish I could do it for myself. It doesn't work on me, but it works on everybody else. So sometimes I've been able to push them and I remember, Dr. Cheryl Lee, do you know her?
Probably.
She's amazing. I remember telling her, you need to write a book and you need to have a radio show. And she said, I could never do that. Well, she's doing all of that now,
Of course she is.
Yeah. So that's what those are the things that make me happy.
Oh, you're so sweet. Speaking of radio shows, you have your own that I believe you are doing it every day now. Is that correct?
Doing the time. Normally I do it Mondays at 4:00, but I thought, so many people are housebound. Like I'm a person that is by myself. Haven't taught my dog how to talk to me yet, but I just thought, wouldn't it be nice to have all these positive people on the show every day? So if people felt like they were alone, they could tune in and hear different stories. And the greatest thing is I'm learning so much more about the people that I'm putting on the show. I decided early March to do that. So in 3 days, I put up all of March and all of April shows online.
Amazing.
And so they just fall into place now. So then, we'll see where we are at the middle of April. And if we're still homebound, I'll do May. But probably after that, I'm going to go back to either once, because, I have to go to all these meetings when we get them back up. So it's not easy to run a show every day, but I might be able to do maybe 2 or 3 times a week versus one.
You are amazing. If anybody can do it, I have faith in you.
Well, at 84, I got to do all I can do as fast as I can do it, because you never know how long more I can go.
But how inspiring, because age is not a factor when it comes to you. And so, I totally admire that. Just back a little bit about myself as well. I won a bodybuilding show at the age of 40 and came back a decade later and won the same show at 50. So I'm right there with you, girlfriend. It's never too late to be great, right? Never too late.
Oh, I read your book. I love it. It's an amazing book.
You did? Oh my goodness. With all that you have to do, you fit that in?
Yeah, I like to try to read a book every day if I can.
Wow. When do you sleep?
Usually midnight and up at 5.
Wow, good for you. See, people can learn from that. So you've been like a female entrepreneur for how many years now when you left corporate?
Well, actually, when I left my job, last job I had with a staff of 800, got to do my next career, which was when I was in Washington, I was in charge of government contracting for the world. And so I learned a lot about how to do contracts. So what I did after that was I spent 10 years helping small businesses get government contracts and traveled all over the world. And then I was in a car accident where a drunk driver hit me and I couldn't walk for a year. So you can't jump on planes and fly. So I changed again another career. And at that time, what happened is Rite Aid was getting ready to change their. They had bought the thrifty stores, and they were getting ready to change everything. And somebody just called me and asked me if I could, from home, staff all the California stores for price changing, and sent me a big book with a bunch of names. So I sat on the floor with a pillow, and that's what I did until I got better.
Wow. So it sounds like that you're used to taking tragedies and making them into triumphs. Seems to be your motto, from a kid living in foster homes to now this global icon for female entrepreneurs. I mean, it's amazing.
Well, I think everything that happens, good or bad, is another lesson in life. And we can, whatever something isn't going, I'll say, okay, what am I supposed to learn from this? And there's always a lesson.
Always, right? But not everybody thinks that way. I mean, even what's going on right now, we're in a crisis mode. Our show will air. I'm sure we'll all be on the other side of this, but right now we're actually in it. So we're living it now. And so many people are running around in fear instead of being like you and myself and some people that are in our communities. We're looking at this as an opportunity, right? To do things.
I think people are learning about themselves. I think it's giving them time to see, am I really in the right career for me? Or am I going to continue going to a job or something I really hate? Or is it time for me to really do what my passion is? The other thing is families are sitting around tables and eating together again. I think we're going to see a big change. I think after this is over, there's going to be more togetherness, more family. People are going to appreciate each other more. I really see that coming.
I do too. I mean, we're really coming together as communities. Like you said, we started as a family in our tight communities and networks, and then it's just going out. And this is a world issue, not just Orange County or California or the USA nation. It's worldwide. So collectively, we're changing consciousness and setting our mindsets differently. And I think it's a reset, really, for the good.
I do too. I see a lot of people coming online and saying, I'm here if you need me, even people that don't know each other. I think that's just such a positive thing. I love that.
I love that too. So the show, we're directing it to female entrepreneurs and experts and talking to different specialists on, what made them great and how they rose to the top, and for you to like how you did it and how you stay there because you've been doing it for so long. And I know your big thing is, a question is, how come you feel that showing up is so powerful for entrepreneurs, just showing up?
Well, one of the things people that are, and I go to so many events and I see a lot. So I see the ones that show up an event and they just walk up to somebody and they say, here's what I do and can I have your card? Well, that really isn't the right thing to do. Number one, you should learn about that person. What can you do to help them? What is it they need? Because sometimes when you learn their need, it's a lot easier to focus on how you can help them, and maybe something you're doing is exactly what they're looking for. So that's really important. And also, I think I see a lot of people running from meeting to meeting and they really don't know if it's the right meeting for them. So you really need to look at, what is your business? Who are you trying to attract? And where are those people showing up at? And that's where you need to show up. Or you might just select someplace you want to go just to make new friends. And that's great too. And then the other thing I notice with women, because of the way we've been raised to be helpers, we have a hard time asking. But yet I think they think when they stand up and do their 30-second commercial that people are going to know exactly what they want. They don't. So you need to know what is it you're really looking for. So wherever you go and you're doing that little commercial, you can say after it, you say, and how you can help me is. And when people have put that out there, I have seen magic happen. I've seen hands raised and say, oh, I have that connection for you. Oh, yeah, I can help you here. Oh, I'd be happy to do that. You know, and I think that's what we need to do more as entrepreneurs.
So that's a really good tip. So when you're at these network meetings, instead of just finishing and just saying who you are, you say, and what was it? How can you help me?
And how you can help me is.
How you can help me is. Okay, you guys, we need to write that down. How you can help me is. I just love that.
And, you know, you could go to 5 different meetings in a day, and they could all be different types of groups. So each one may be one that could give you a different need that you're looking for. So that's why it's almost like we have a marketing plan, we have a strategic plan, we need a show up plan. You know, where are we showing up? What is it we need? And what are we looking for? And then when we go, we're more prepared to be able to ask for what we want. And I can tell you, I could do 5 books on stories when women started to learn to ask that opened the doors for them that they couldn't believe it happened. And now they're asking all the time. But I've been on this mission for a long time to get them to show up and to ask.
Show up and to ask. There you go. Show up and ask. So you guys write that down. I'm writing it down too. I think that's great. I do a lot of networking meetings myself, and that's how I got to meet you at yours. Let's talk a little bit about the Naffi organization.
Well, Naffi has been around for almost 47 years. I've been a member for probably from the time they started in New York. And I've been the coordinator. I was first the regional coordinator for until 3 years ago. And then I became the global coordinator. So my role with them is that I oversee all the California networks, and I'm always helping to build new networks. But I'm also sort of a resource for all the other networks across the country if I can help them, or if they, you know, are looking for some ideas or something. One of the things, Naffi doesn't have any networks of their own. They have what they call affiliate networks. So if somebody wanted to start a Naffi network, one of the requirements is that all the members they bring in must be a Naffi member. They must join Naffi. But the director of that network can run the network whichever way she wants. So in Southern California, we have 11 networks, which I'm the one that started all of them. And then what I do is I find the right people to run them, and then I'm there to support them. And we've been doing that in California for a long time. And now I have other networks kind of doing what we're doing. Maryland's opening up a whole bunch, and I have somebody in Georgia that used to be here is now starting one. So but it really takes on the personality of the director.
Yeah.
I don't tell them how to do it. I just tell them they must support women, and you know they must keep it all on a positive level. And one of the things we don't get involved in is religion or politics. But everything else, it's all about what can we do for our members. You know, we find out about an opportunity, sharing the opportunity. We can't take their hands to make them do it, but we can say, here's a great opportunity. A good one recently, somebody from Home Network sent me a note about a new show that they were going to feature someone who had been working hard and last year have saved up enough money to buy their first house. Maybe not their dream house, but their first house. And I sent it out to all of our members. And one of my Temecula members sent it, and she's going to be picked for one of the shows. And they have a viewing audience of 35 million people. And they're coming out and they're going to film her off her home, but also film what they're doing in their business. You couldn't buy that.
What great marketing tool, right? Free advertising. Yeah.
So those are the kind of things that we hear about, or somebody's looking for speakers, or somebody's doing this or that. So whenever I hear that, I always share it. But then, like I said, it's up to them to take action. You know, it's like people will go to meetings, they get a lot of business cards, and they come home, and where do you find them? On their desk, in their drawers. Where they're losing is in the follow-up. Sometimes they don't have to keep going out. They just need to work the follow-up.
Yes, I can say I'm guilty of that, especially when I was new. I was going to so many networking, including yours, getting all these cards coming home, and I'm not the data entry girl. That's not my genius. So I just started collecting business cards, and I'm leaving, millions of dollars on the table. I know I am. So
Yeah, because you don't know all the people they know. Everybody knows at least 200 people. I probably know 10,000 people, but most people know at least 200, and those 200 know 200. So, once you're really clear on what you're looking for, where are you going? Think higher than where you are, and find people that are above what you're doing, because you can learn from them. And most people are really willing to help you. I remember once I read a book, and this gal was in New York. I was in Northern California, and it said, find a mentor above you. So I called her up. She's a futurist, and she was the one that got Domino's to start delivering. So I called her up and I said, I'd like you to be my mentor. And she said, okay. So once a month she mentored me, and I learned so much from her, because she had so many industries in her business that she could look at the whole future of where things were going and be able to really keep you on to look ahead. Don't stay where we are now, because we're constantly changing. I mean, just from this incident we're all in, there's going to be tons of changes. Absolutely. So we're going to have to shift and move. So that's the way to do it. These people, that's all they study.
How to shift and move. Another great tip. Shift and move. Show up and ask, and shift and move.
And think outside the box.
Absolutely.
And another one that I think is really, so many people like to be perfect, a perfectionist. And they spend so much time trying to make everything perfect that they never get it out there. To me, get it out there, learn, make the correction, get a feel of what's going on, and then pull it back, make changes, go back out again. It's the best. It's like having your market research team out there, but instead of keeping it all in, and because you may have completely forgot something that would even make it bigger and perfect. So by getting it out there, you're going to get feedback. Then you can pull it in, make a change, go back out again. I'm always on top of some of my girls that were perfectionists, and they're getting better, because to me, that's such a waste of time.
Well, they said it causes paralysis, right?
Yeah, you don't get anything done.
Right. You got to
have the perfect thing, but you're the only one that knows about it.
Right. That it doesn't monetize too well.
True.
No, I love that. And that's another good thing. And that tends to happen. I mean, I have a lot of perfectionist friends that, again, no one knows their programs because they're so busy trying to build it and perfect it that they don't release it, or ever they don't launch it. A lot of my friends too that I found is kind of a big problem right now is that so many seminars and conferences and all these programs and packages, and everybody's so good on stage that you want to buy them all. I have friends that have spent $500,000, $1 million in programs and never implemented them. I mean, that just seems to be a common thread, at least for some of my friends. I mean,
yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it too. And I think what you have to do is, what are you going to do? Before you make a decision, you should say, is it a want or a need? And if it's a need, what am I actually going to use it for? Is it going to move in my plan of where I want to be in my success? Is it going to move me forward in my success, my road to success or higher success? And if not, then you need to pass.
Move forward. I like that.
We always have to be thinking of that. Where are we going? It's like when you get in a car, you got to pretty much know what road you're taking. Well, you need to know that about your career. Where do you want to go? Right.
Sometimes it's windy, but it's okay, at least if you keep going forward, like you said. Even if there's failure involved when you're trying to be perfect, they call it failing forward. I've heard that. And I think that makes perfect sense. Yes, fail forward.
The other thing is good is a lot of times I've heard people, I think when you're going to name a company or a product, I always think get a bunch of people that maybe not family, but people that are in different types of business, and show them either the name or the product or the name of the product or the name of your company, you're going to name it. Like if you're going to do a company, say, if you heard that name, what would you think the company was?
Right. I'm like a survey, right? Do a survey.
Yeah, because sometimes the names people pick have nothing to do with the business they're in.
What it is. Right. That's really good advice, Robbie, because even like, you know, I've been getting a lot of coaching myself, and they said even like sell it before you even build it. Even a book, I've heard people say pre-launch your book before you even write it, and then get some sort of feedback. I think feedback is critical at things like this before you invest money.
Yeah, and I think that's really important. Like sometimes they'll pick, oh, that's my parents' name or but what is your business? Is it going to really fit in, you know, to your business? And sometimes if you're picking that name, then you need a very clever tagline under it that really identifies what your business is.
Awesome.
And the other thing is people don't use the idea of using PR. PR is really powerful. And what I always tell people, wherever you are, pick up any paper you can pick up for free. And when you get it, don't read it for news. Read it for opportunity. I had a friend of mine do that from Pasadena years ago. And she called me up and she said, oh, my God, I found 15 different opportunities in that little free newspaper that she could promote what she was doing in it for free.
Fabulous. Yeah, there's opportunities everywhere. We just have to kind of open our eyes, open our hearts, and look around and see how things can fit into what we're doing. But you have to have that message, right? You have to know what.
Yeah, and another thing, if they're doing like an event, look at other people doing events. Who are their sponsors? If somebody is sponsoring something, you know that they're already spending money. They know what it's all about. You know, or like when you go to an event and they have those where you bid on the baskets, or you know, and it has a list of all the companies that have given stuff. I always take my camera and shoot names. So then I have a list of probably 8,000 names now that I know where I can go out to ask for items. So it's a way to start building a list if you're looking for sponsors or whatever, because they're used to giving money.
That's right. You don't have to recreate the wheel on this whole thing, right?
No, it's like if somebody's running an ad and you'll get a notice on your email about a conference. Well, look at the logos down at the bottom who are sponsors. And then look what kind of business they're in. Does it tie into what you're trying to do? Like if you're into health, then you want people that care about health. But you're going to be able to be, with a very short time, you will have such a great list that you won't have to spin your wheels to find stuff.
That's right. Everything and now everything's so virtual that it's really at our fingertips. I've never stayed home so much in my life and doing these sort of things, but it's been great. It's just been a blessing and an opportunity to start doing this, because I do live events as well. And I am a speaker and I am a published author, and I've got all these things that want to get in place, and I want to get my name out there. So being on your radio show and doing all these different podcasts and all that is all exciting. And you just keep going, right? You just keep moving forward. I love that.
Well, have you ever thought about going online and people who are speakers and have books, you're going online and Google women's groups internationally. Look at each country, a country you may want to go speak in, and Google the women's groups there, and then send them a note about what you're doing, what your topics are, what your book is about. They do conferences, they bring in speakers. It's a great way I gave that tip to someone a couple years ago, and they got booked in 15 different countries.
Very exciting. Yeah, anything's possible, right? You just have to implement it, do the steps, and follow through. That's always the key, is that follow-up. And building a team. I think getting the team really, really helps. You can get some VAs and all that. I'm in that process myself, and I'm finding it's great. That way we can focus on our personal genius. For you, you're like this icon of networking and ambassador of so many places. Where else? I lost you, babe.
I'm back.
There you are.
I don't know why it keeps going off my phone. The other thing that's good is go to the colleges. That I did this a couple years ago, and gave a tip out to someone where they have a business. Like some of them have the continuing education, and they bring in like an MBA programs. They'll bring in students from overseas, and a lot of them like to get like become interns. So,
Mm.
what you want to, when I used to teach at UCR and Riverside in their continuing education, the marketing PR program, what I would tell the people in my class was they were nonprofit directors, and I would say, pretend that money was no object. What talent would you need? Then you go instead, because so many times you'll go to somebody and says, I need volunteers. No, you need volunteers with a certain talent that will help you get the job done. Because if they don't have that talent, you're going to have to spend time training them.
Right.
So if you say, I'm looking for a talent, a person that's great in doing online social media, some of the younger people, it will, and they love it because they can put it on a resume that they work for an American company, and they'll do it for free just for the background of being able to do that.
Right.
It's important to say, what talent do I need?
I like that.
And look for that talent.
Awesome. Robbie, you're such a wealth of knowledge. We can talk for hours. This is our first time. Do you have some way that people want to get a hold of you, or some sort of free gift that you want to offer our audience?
I'd be happy to give somebody a half an hour free coaching in either marketing or PR.
That's what an awesome gift. I might have to hit you up for that. Because I'm in the middle of all of it. And I think most of our people are. I mean, you can never know enough about this stuff because it's constantly changing, right?
The other thing that people, and what I say to women, there's, none of us do anything for awards, because we just do it because it's our passion in our heart. But over the years, what I've seen, and even my members, who for years, I remember one year I wrote 49 nominations. And this year, even for the one I nominated you for, I nominated for San Diego and Orange County, I did 23 nominations. So the bottom line is and I knew this, but they're coming back and saying, Robbie, I'm still the same person. But once I was even a nominee or I won, people look at me so differently. It's crazy, but that does happen. So it's really good to see where these nominations come in to get yourself out there. A lot of times what I say, find a buddy. You know more about what you do than anybody else. So what you do with you get the buddy to nominate you, but you write up the nomination for yourself and they send it in. Then you nominate them and they write up their nomination. So you both get in. Mm-hmm. But it's everything that really is the facts that can help you even shine more.
That's a really good tip. It's nice. I've won some awards myself, and a lot of, I'm a champion in fitness and all these things. It hasn't changed me, but it's just a symbol to me of your accomplishments, that you're on the right path and you're doing the right thing.
But don't people look at you differently with all the awards? I mean, they're just in awe of all the things you won. And like you say, it doesn't change you, but it's just how it's perceived. It is.
You're correct. Well, that's why everybody, and even actors, I'm a SAG actress as well, everybody wants to win, an Academy Award or an Oscar, because it's an accolade. It's a symbol that they're winners or champions or the best in their field. I mean, I just got back. I went to India and won Women of Excellence Award, and that was exciting. It means something to people.
Yeah, it does. It really does.
We like it.
Have you ever been on the Pink Ladies TV show? You should get on her show. She's amazing.
Is that I've met her. I met her at a SAG event. Actually, it was the Academy Awards. We went and watched it together. She's so darling.
She has a great show, and she's one of our Naffi members. Okay. And her show is wonderful, and it'd be great with your books, and all the things you're doing.
Thank you. Yes, I will look her up. I think she's adorable.
I'll share her contact with you.
Okay, because yeah, I've met her, and
And
she's
she's a very good friend of Jane Austen, who, is the SAG president.
perfect. I'm well aware of that. Awesome. Well, anything else, Rob? Because we can continue on and on. I know, but you're just so awesome. We'll put your bio and the link and the free gift and all that in the email. But anything else you'd like to personally add?
No, I just wanted to let people know that I'm always here for them 7 days a week, whenever, because sometimes just having somebody to talk to makes a big difference.
See, I'm going to cry. You're just so authentic and so real and so giving and so willing to serve. That's just.
And, we hope that some of them, we have 11 networks in Southern California. If they go to wrnaffi.com, they will be able to see where our networks in California are. And if they just go to Naffi.com in the corporate office in New York, they'll be able to see where some of the others are. And just come and visit us. I always say we're like a movement of women who come together, a tribe that really care about each other. And then my nonprofit, the Global Society for Female Entrepreneurs, which is a 501c3, which I started in 2017, is all about doing training and education. Because whenever I'm doing an event, it's much easier for me to get grants and money having a nonprofit. Naffi's not a nonprofit, so that's why I formed it in 2000. They used to be foundation, but over the years they've been bought and sold, and somehow they didn't keep the foundation. So I started my own nonprofit, and so anything we do, like the Naffi GSFE conference, is done through GSFE, because it really does help us be able to reach out and do more things.
Fabulous. Well, awesome. I want to thank you again for being my special guest. I am honored. You're just amazing, a wealth of knowledge on this female entrepreneurship, and I look forward to getting to know you even more. I'm going to be attending your events. I'm one of your speakers as many times as I can, and I love it. You're amazing.
All right, dear.
You are
Thank you so
fierce.
much.
You are fierce. I will tell you that. Don't mess with Robbie. She's awesome. All right, my dear.
All right, dear. Thank you. Bye-bye now.
Thanks, Robbie.